Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Today, I am doing another Star Wars video. I know, I've been on fire with these videos. It's amazing. Anyway, before I start the video, let me just give a shout out to two YouTubers. One is Star Wars Theory Man. I loved your Vader video. No, I didn't just watch it today. I just thought I'd give him a shout out. I'm looking forward to Vader 2. Hopefully, it's all more awesome than Vader 1. And keep up the good work, man. And then another is Star Wars Theory. He kind of gave me an idea to do this video. He really does some great content, honestly. Go check out his channel. He's a master when it comes to doing Star Wars videos. But nonetheless, let's get on with the video. So Star Wars Theory, Thor Skywalker, keep up the good work. You guys are my favorite YouTube channels, but that's not on them. This is on me. So I was thinking I would do a Star Wars video where I review Star Wars The Last Jedi. No, hold up, relax, man, relax. Okay, yes, I know, it came out 1.5 years ago, I understand, I know, relax, keep your hate comments away. God, okay. Yes, I am reviewing Star Wars The Last Jedi in April of 2019. No, I have not gone mad. I know when the movie came out, and I know the consequences of me reviewing this. But, can I give my reasons? Can I talk about what happened about Star Wars The Last Jedi? Star Wars The Last Jedi has been the most decisive film of the decade. Not of the year, not just of Star Wars, but the most decisive Star Wars film of the decade. Maybe even more, I don't know. But oh boy, what people thought they were gonna go see was a mastery of cinema. It was gonna change everything we knew about it. It was gonna be the turn of the century. Turned out it was the turn of the century, but not one we expected. But what can you say? I mean, Empire Strikes Back suffered the same fate. A lot of people hated it when it came out. 40 years later, it's regarded as the best Star Wars movie ever. So maybe the same thing could happen to Last Jedi. We could just look at this. 40 years from now, our children or grandchildren could be loving Star Wars The Last Jedi. And we're just there like, ha, remember when we hated that 4 decades ago? Yeah, me too. But Star Wars The Last Jedi was the most decisive film ever. It tore the Star Wars fan base. People go ahead to say that Disney ruined it, that Rian Johnson broke Star Wars, that even why am I forgetting his name? The dude who directed episode 7. Just comment on his name down at the bottom. I'm forgetting his name, honestly. But yeah, they say he just broke J.J. Abrams. That was it. J.J. Abrams broke Star Wars, that he left so many questions, and his mystery box thing was just too much for us civilians to handle, and he thought he was better than us. Can you believe that? Oh my god. Anyway, today I am deciding to review Star Wars The Last Jedi, and the reason I'm doing it today was because I wanted to pick a random day. I wanted to pick a day that nobody would ever think about. I wanted to pick a day that was completely non-Star Wars and had nothing to do with Star Wars at all. And to top it all off, I wanted to pick a day where I could be seen as the neutral fan. Where people say Disney broke Star Wars, I'm going to remake Star Wars. They say they broke Star Wars because of The Last Jedi. Well, I'm going to remake it with The Last Jedi. I am going to give my review of The Last Jedi, and I'm going to analyze scene by scene. I probably won't analyze every scene, but I want to analyze almost everything I remember. And yeah, I did watch the movie a few days ago, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. At least it wasn't as bad when it came out of the cinema. When I came out of the cinema, I'd say it was the best Star Wars movie ever. Boy, was I wrong. Anyway, so I'm going to be giving a scene-by-scene review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. And it will be kind of podcasty, like you wouldn't see any clips, because I don't know how to edit. I don't know edit. So, yeah, if you have patience, you can sit here with me. Maybe I could crack a joke here or there. But if you are not, you've already checked out. Sorry, subscribers, I know you hate The Last Jedi, but I am gonna fix it, okay? I have decided that I will be the neutral fan of Star Wars. I will be the one who saves it from destruction. People say Disney broke it, I will fix it. I will show people that I am the most neutral Star Wars fan ever. And I always think of myself as a neutral guy, but other than that, maybe I should make my second channel neutral, But other than that, yes, I am going to fix The Last Jedi. I'm going to be the most neutral Star Wars fan ever, so that people can enjoy it. I'm not gonna say I loved it or hate it. I am the middleman. People say there's no middleman, but I'm gonna be the middleman, because I will review The Last Jedi. I will say what I thought about it, whether I liked it, whether I hated it. And let me just come off right now, I did like it. Not loved it, liked it. there's your first spoiler. I liked The Last Jedi. Eat it. Now, let's start off the review. But before we go on with the review, how about you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit those comments, please comment and hit subscribe. But other than that, yes, let's begin. This is my review on Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, I know you're probably tired of seeing videos like this because people always rant on them, people always talk about how bad they are, but I'm actually putting my review in a different light, where I'm a neutral guy, where I try to look at every point and see what I liked or hated about it. And as I said right now, I did like The Last Jedi. I didn't love it, okay? I find that the movie has a lot of flaws with it. But I did like it enough to enjoy my time in the cinema, and I wouldn't have minded seeing it a second time. A third time, that's a stretch, but yes, I did like The Last Jedi, and I will talk about it from 2 points of view. A movie-going place and a Star Wars fan point of view. Without further ado, let's begin Star Wars The Last Jedi. So, you know, we have the title crawl and all that. It kind of makes it unnecessary that we have the title crawl, seeing as this only takes place about, I would say, a week after episode 7, so like not much really happens. And if this does take a place a week before episode 7, was Rey just standing there in front of Luke the whole time? Nah, I'm pretty sure there were different time spaces, but whatever. So then we have the First Order come in the Dreadnought and attack the Rebel base. Now we have Poe going with BB-8 to talk to General Hux, at least to distract him until the Resistance got out of there. And this is where my first hit in the movie comes in. You see, the scene is shot so beautifully. We get the planet, we get the space, everything just looks so flashy and nice. And before I go on, let me just say that this is the most beautiful looking Star Wars movie. Say what you want about it, but I cannot remove the amazing cinematography from this movie. This is the best looking Star Wars movie by far. My God, it looks so amazing. But other than that, yes. So we get the conversation with General Hux, and this is where my problem comes into play. We get the nice opening scene of everything going on, and then we have the conversation between Poe and General Hux. At first I thought it was going to be like a funny phone call where General Hux was going to be confused, but it turns out that he was playing along with Poe's game. And I don't know, I didn't really enjoy that. Like in the Force Awakens, you could see General Hux was really passionate about the First Order. You could see he really loved doing what he did, that being like killing billions and billions of people. But regardless, he did enjoy what he did, and he enjoyed being part of the First Order. He believed he was bringing a new order to the galaxy, and that speech on the Starkiller base, that was amazing. However, here in this movie, he's been turned into a joke. Where in The Force Awakens he was basically Hitler, in this movie he's a joke. I mean, might as well give him a mustache so he can twirl it. There is nothing good about General Hux here. He's not funny, he's not kooky, he's just a bumbling buffoon who messes up everything he does. And now we have the space phone call between him and Poe, and I didn't find myself laughing. I thought it was gonna, we were gonna have some banter between the two, but like maybe Poe and General Hux had some kind of relationship, and then General Hux went to join the First Order. You know, something like that. That could have been an interesting dynamic. But no, it's a funny phone call, and I hated it. But now we get one of the best shots in the movie ever, where the First Order shoots bombs from their dreadnought onto the planet, and those bombs are so freaking huge you can see the explosion from space. I just felt like my breath was being taken away. We haven't even reached the 5-minute mark yet. I am just so stunned. So the Resistance is escaping in these like transport ships, and they don't have weapons on them. Why they don't have weapons on them, I don't know. Like literally every ship in the Star Wars universe has a weapon on it, but for some reason the transport ships don't. Kind of convenient, don't you think? So anyway, the transport ships set to evacuate along with some of the fighter ships, you know, like the bombers and I forget what those ships are called, the ones that kind of look like lollipops, I don't know. And no, hammers, they kind of look like hammers, don't you think? Anyway, along with the X-Wings, B-Wings, Y-Wings, all that. So we all have a nice good old space battle, but this space battle went to crap fast. The First Order was already prepared, and kind of the things that bugged me about this was that the First Order had recovered way too quickly. The Empire took 3 years to attack the rebel base. Well, I mean, they made books and comics about where the Empire came to attack them, but back then it took them 3 years to attack the rebel base. Why? Because the Death Star was destroyed and they had lost so much money. Yes, they owned an entire galaxy, so they could get money out of wherever they wanted, but here The First Order doesn't rule the galaxy. They're a quiet thing. I wouldn't say they're like a quiet place or whatever, but like they just lost their biggest finance ever. They blew up like 5 planets and that thing was destroyed. So I find it really hard to swallow that only after a week after episode 7 the First Order is already ready, you know, to kick some butt. And I'm like, bros, you guys lost. What are you doing? Regardless, that's just my opinion. Anyway, so we have the sick space battle, and I will admit the space battle was really awesome. I enjoyed all the ships blowing each other up. Although the resistance got their butts kicked pretty quickly, you know, and you know. So we have the bombers going over the ships, and I might be the only one who might say this, but I actually enjoy like the design of the bombers. I've watched other Star Wars videos where people rant on about the design of the bombers and they really don't look well. To me personally, I really do like how the bombers are shaped. They look, you know, they have this nice Star Wars design, and then we have the hull on the bottom where all the bombs drop. It looks kind of neat. In my opinion, it looks kind of neat. Anyway, so the bombs drop onto the dreadnought, thus destroying it, and Leia keeps on telling Poe to call off the attack, but Poe is like, oh, you know, we're already engaged, might as well fight. So the bombs drop on the dreadnought, and people do complain that the bombs like lost their gravity on their way there, but in my opinion, like, I think the film already told me that the bombs were magnetic, so like, you know, no biggie there. Anyway, after the dreadnought is destroyed, the resistance escapes. However, the First Order finds them because apparently the First Order have discovered hyperspace tracking technology where they can track you even though you're going to hyperspace. So they have that problem now. So the stakes have already been raised. However, back on the island, I'm forgetting which planet this was. Please excuse me for my loss of memory. But back on the planet where Rey met Luke, she hands him his lightsaber. Luke looks at the lightsaber. It's as if he had found what was once his again. For a split second, you can just see the hope in his eyes. Something he had lost more 30 plus years back has been returned to him. Something that was said to be his father's. Something sacred in the Skywalker family has returned to him at last, through this girl he has never met. And you know what he does? He throws it over his shoulder. Well, it did give me a good chuckle in the cinema. It wasn't really a funny thing at all. How do you throw that damn thing over your shoulder? That thing has been carried for 2+ trilogies, man. Whoo, boy. I'm really not giving The Last Jedi a good light here, am I? I mean, I have said I liked it, and I am really not doing anything in its favor right now. But, yeah, some of these scenes really do bug me. And as I said, I really do like The Last Jedi. I think of it as a well-done film. And here's where it draws boundaries. The Last Jedi is a good film, but not a good Star Wars film. Rian Johnson definitely knows what he's doing. He knows how to work in the chair. He knows where the camera should point. He knows how to make this and this look like this and that. Oh my gosh, Rian Johnson is actually a good director. But because he's doing a Star Wars movie and not your regular sci-fi movie, people would obviously get mad at him for the changes he's making. But if this was any other movie, he would be congratulated. In all honesty, Rian Johnson is actually a pretty good director. You can see from the shots he makes, from the lines of dialogue these people have. Rian Johnson really knows what he's doing. He really knows how to make a film look and be great. However, there's a difference between a good film and a good Star Wars film. And that's where Rian Johnson drew the line. While I did like The Last Jedi as a good film, as a normal film, as a Star Wars film, I'm kind of on the fence. As a Star Wars film, some of the choices he made do make sense, and some of the choices really just make you want to scratch your head. They are well done. The CGI is perfect, but there is obviously something wrong here. There's obviously something missing, and it kind of makes you wonder, did Rian Johnson like Star Wars? There's kind of that thing missing where you kind of miss the passion for Star Wars. People like George Lucas, Dave Filoni, and even J.J. Abrams, all these guys have a passion for Star Wars. They all have a passion for it, and they all want to express their love for it in one way or another. Be it the prequels, TV shows, and even The Force Awakens. So it kind of makes this thing with Rian Johnson look confused. It seems Rian Johnson isn't into Star Wars. He's just doing Star Wars because, well, it's popular. Not saying that he doesn't like it, it's just that he doesn't have the same passion for it as other creators did. Anyways, that's just my opinion, and I'm getting way off track here. Back to the movie. So back to the movie, we get what's this? We have Luke throwing his lightsaber over. That kind of pissed me off, but nonetheless, we get to see how his life is on the island. I really did like the part where he's just so adapted to everything. He fishes well, he communicates with everything well. However, the problem that I and many other people faced was the green milk, the green breast milk sea creature scene. Nobody wanted to. Ryan, were you on something on that day? Nobody wanted to see that, really, in all honesty. Do us a favor and never show that thing again. Anyway, so after the green milk scene, oh boy, we just have Rey standing outside Luke's door, and then she's so confused. Luke is like, well, you've seen my life, get out of here. Then Rey's like, come on, the resistance needs you. And then Luke is just like, do you expect me to go out in battle with a laser sword against the entire First Order? And that's what the entire audience was expecting from Luke. We're like, yeah, man, go and kill everyone, shoot them down, bring down AT-ATs with us by blinking. But of course, Luke wouldn't go for it, and thus he shuts the door on Rey. Now, Rey looks like utterly confused. She doesn't know what to do, and she tells Luke about Han Solo's death. Now here we get a special scene of Luke grieving, and he feels saddened over his friend. He's like, Chewie's here, but I don't see Han. And in the deleted scene, we get to see him and Leia actually grieve over Han Solo, you know, the first communication thing. But in the original movie, something is cut, and then we have just Leia looking pouty because, you know, most of her ships were shut down. So like, boo. In fact, let me just get this out of the way. I watched the deleted scenes, and let me just say some of those deleted scenes were like 100 times better than what we got in the movie. But for some reason, they stuck with what they got with what we got in the movie. Johnson, take a look at your work, man. Ah. Anyway, so now this is where my mind gets a bit foggy. But I do remember that Finn wakes up and he tries to escape. Now remember, Finn isn't an official Resistance soldier. No matter what Episode 7 tried to make you think, he never did join the Resistance. He only wanted to escape with Rey. Therefore, when he wakes up to find that Rey is gone, he's like, oh shoot, man, what do I do? And then he finds that beacon thing that Leia had, and he tries to use that so that Rey can find him. But as he's going to the escape pod, we meet Rose. Let that sink in for a bit. Okay, so Rose, she is definitely not Star Wars' favorite character. Some people even prefer Jar Jar over her. Freaking Jar Jar! I hate Jar Jar, man. He's so annoyed. Misa, hey, go away, kill yourself. Anyway, Rose, in my opinion, was a fine character until the tail end of the movie. But for majority of the movie, she seemed to be a pretty legit character. She actually just seemed to be a normal Star Wars character, and I could buy into her very well. Her sister had just died, but saved the Resistance. So obviously now she can live with the fact that her sister is a hero, and she went out a hero. And you could tell that Rose already had such a nice development for her. Her sister was gone, and on top of that, she's such a spicy fellow. When Finn tried to escape the ship in one of the escape pods, she actually tasers Finn. I laughed so hard. I just never expected someone to be tasered in a Star Wars movie. Finn is about to escape, bam! Ah, I love that moment, and that's not ironic. I really actually like that moment. Anyway, we get to find out more about Rose, but then you know, we find out that the First Order is tracking them through the through the light speed tracking system. Man, I really need to take pauses in between the video, otherwise my brain is just gonna fart. I'm getting fart brains, yeah, brain farts, you know. Anyway, so the First Order has found them, and we get another battle. I really did like this battle as well. In fact, I liked it more than the first one, because now the First Order and the Resistance were sort of like on even ground, except the First Order had gotten the upper hand again. Things were just going crazy. Kylo Ren now decides to go in his ship, and you know, just like his grandfather, he's a really good pilot actually. So he starts weaving in and out of the Resistance ships, and actually is able to shoot down one of the hangars, and that hangar just so happened to be where Poe is. He's going to go with BB-8 into the hangar, boom, his ship is blown up. And I'm just there like, whoa, okay, this is intense. The stakes have been risen, folks, and I'm not joking. There's so much tension in here. Like, you're worried for our heroes. We wonder what's gonna happen to them. And then we get one of the best scenes in Star Wars. There is no dialogue here. Kylo Ren is flying his ship towards Leia's ship. Leia looks out into deep space. She knows her son is out there, and she knows that one way or another she's going to join her husband, but she doesn't know whether it's gonna end at the hand of her son. just like how it ended. Kylo Ren is looking into his mom's ship. He's getting ready to fire at her. He wonders if he can do it, but he doesn't. He doesn't shoot Leia down. Instead, 2 other TIE fighters come into it instead. Pew, 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 boom, 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 boom. And can you believe it? Akbar. General Akbar. General freaking Akbar gets shot into space. True, he wasn't there for all of the movies, but he was a fan favorite. We couldn't even get one more "it's a trap" from him. We just couldn't get one more. You know, let me just install it. Pew, 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 boom. It's a trap. But anyway, everyone in that hold died. Everyone got sucked into space, including Leia. General Akbar was also gone. Rest in peace, soldier. Anyway, so Leia got sucked into space. However, she was able to use the Force to pull herself back. And no, this isn't a Superman scene. Leia didn't turn into Clark Kent or Superman, whatever you want to call him. You're in the vacuum of space. She just pulled herself towards the ship. You know, the ship, the part of the ship that wasn't blown up. And that was another amazing scene. A lot of people really didn't like the Leia flying scene, but I did. It wasn't flying. She was just in 0G. And here she is in the vacuum of space, not breathing, but her subconscious knows what to do. The Force guides her. She starts flying towards the ship where the wreckage was done. She flies through the wrecked room. It just looks so detailed. Everything just looks so nice. Then they open the door for her. She gets in, however, she is in a bad state. So we get the most annoying character in the film. You thought Rose was bad? Well, try Admiral Holdo. Admiral Holdo sucks. S to the U to the K to the Z. I freaking hate Admiral Holdo. For one, she doesn't even wear battle armor. She doesn't wear the uniform. She looks like she's going to a freaking opera. She looks like she's going to what those opera houses. I'm forgetting what I think they're the opera houses. She looks like she's going out for a dance, man. She looks like she's going for the ball. Wear armor, wear the uniform, you freaking lady. You're leading an entire army and you think you're better than them. And that's Holdo's weakness as well. She thinks she's better than anyone. No one can correct her on anything. And it just boils my blood every time she's on the scene. I freaking hate Holdo. And then even Poe. Poe is a loose cannon. She says it herself. You're a loose cannon, man. You don't know what you want to do. So instead of telling Poe the plan, she just like, geez, sort, man. I ain't telling you nothing. You ain't gonna get nothing out of me. No. I'm not telling you this plan. And you know, once again, seeing as, and this doesn't make sense from a logical standpoint. Rian Johnson, I just congratulated on him being a good filmmaker. But I think you should have read the script twice. If Poe was such a loose cannon, then why don't you tell him the plan? If you tell him the plan, he'll fall in line. But if he's a loose cannon, as you say, and don't tell him the plan, he will immediately ignore you. This is like a conversation between her mother and her teenage son. Her teenage son doesn't know what's going on. He tries to ask the mother. The mother is like, oh, nah, dude, you're too young for this. Go to your room. And the son is like, okay, I'm a rebel. I'm a teenager. I'm a rebel. I don't care. And it just doesn't make sense. Tell him the flipping plan. This movie would be halfway over if they just found out what the plan was. We could cut out all that mutiny crap. Nobody cared about the mutiny thing. I mean, I did kind of find it funny, but it was kind of ironic. Back on the island, we have Rey talking with Luke. And this is where now Luke decides to teach Rey. He doesn't teach her officially, like go zap zap with his lightsaber or anything, but he does teach her how to become a Jedi. If she really does want to become a Jedi, he's teaching her. But he also teaches her why the Jedi must not exist anymore. I kind of expected it being like if the Jedi didn't exist, the Sith wouldn't exist, because the Sith would have no one to fight. But then I remember the original trilogy, where the Sith had no one to fight and they ruled the galaxy. So I didn't know what Luke's plan was going in here. Were the Sith gonna destroy themselves or what? And he even went into talking about how Darth Sidious ended up ruling the galaxy. He ended up talking about how Order 66 happened. And it was such a great scene. They weren't doing anything, there was no action, but they were just talking. And this is where Rian Johnson comes in with his nice dialogue. These characters haven't been doing anything big, but they have been talking. They've just been looking at each other and talking about the events of the past, talking about how they can fix things. And it is such a beautiful moment. It is honestly one of the best moments in in Star Wars films, where they reflect on the past and all their choices to come up to here. I have never seen this in a Star Wars film before, because every Star Wars film I see, they rarely talk about the past. The only Star Wars film apart from this one that actually talked about what happened was The Force Awakens, which is why I guess I kind of like it, because it really did poke a lot at the original trilogy. But here it didn't just poke at the original trilogy, it referenced the prequel trilogy. It talked about all the events these characters have gone through and all their suffering. It brings you back into Star Wars and the reason you loved it, to go on this amazing journey with these characters. I just wish more scenes in the movie were like this, because this is just beautiful. So Luke teaches Rey how to use the Force, and honestly this leads to one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where Rey is sticking out her hand and then Luke is tapping it with a lever and he just smacks it. That was actually funny, and yeah, I really enjoyed myself. Honestly, now recalling it is a pretty funny scene. Anyway, so Rey learns about the darkness, about how she shouldn't go into the darkness. Some of the major themes here are failure and how to look within yourself. And in fact, even in one of the deleted scenes, Rey actually finds out that the Jedi have to stay out of some bits. And this really shook me, because this deleted scene, I feel, should have been in the movie, in all honesty. Because think about it. Sometimes you have to stay out of something in order for it to not be well. What happened wasn't that the deleted scene was that there was a village from a nearby island coming to raid this island. Every month they come to raid this island. And Rey is feeling bad for the people of the island. They're feeling bad for the villagers, and they're like, yo, we have to stop the raid. But Luke is like, no, if you stop that raid, they will go away. You will actually be able to defeat them. But then they'll come back next month, and you won't be here next month. What are you gonna do about it? And they will come in stronger forces, even, because they feel like now they gotta be up their game. Rey doesn't listen to Luke and instead goes to fight for the villagers. She finds out it's a party, but Luke actually lied to her. It does end up leading to a funny joke, but in all, that is a really good lesson. Sometimes you have to stay out of something in order for things to flow naturally. A police can't come to every situation where there's drug dealing or something like that and expect tomorrow it's gonna be all hokey day. Tomorrow it's gonna be worse. Might as well keep things the way they are, either until they wait for things to die out, or until there's a natural order of things. And that's why I think this comes in balance. Well, Luke also teaches Rey about balance. Not everything can be one lopsided to the other. There has to be a proper structure, and the Force for years has been trying to find balance. It did end with Luke in episode 6, but once he cut himself off from the Force just went out of whack. And I guess that's the point where you could say Rey was born. The Force found a vessel in her, and immediately Luke cut himself off from the Force is when Rey came back, was born, and was then able to have the Force awaken in her. Which is why I believe she's so powerful. No, you can be talented in basketball, but you haven't learned a single lesson. That is wrong. You can be talented in basketball, but you need lessons. Rey was gifted with the Force, but it doesn't mean she knows how to fight properly. So even if the Force is using her as a vessel and powering her up to Kylo's level, I don't feel like it was a permanent solution to their problem. Anyway, we find out that so once Poe has been told that we go back to the Resistance, and once Poe has been told that his idea has been shut down, he decides to send Finn and Rose to what's this place? Canto Bight. Oh yeah, Canto Bight. Anyone remember that? No? One of the worst scenes in the movie? You don't say. No wonder this movie is 2.5 hours long. It's the longest Star Wars movie ever. And reason being is because of the dumb, flippin' Canto Bight scene. Oh my god. So, let's just explain in quick detail. Finn and Rose go to Canto Bight to look for a hacker. As Maz Kanata told them, that hacker can help them get rid of the fast order tracking system, and within a limited amount of time they should be able to deactivate the system and save their friends. So it's a no-brainer. They go to Canto Bight, they look for the dude. They park their ship in an open beach where everyone can see it. Literally, later on, we get to see a huge grass field. Park it in the grass field, for Christ's sake. You will hide your ship. Why are you parking it at the public beach, where it will be told you guys will be arrested and you will have nothing to say for yourself because you're dumb fools? All of you are fools. I'm sorry. It's not. I don't really hate the characters. It's their actions that anger me. I'm sorry. It's really all this nonsense. It's already in my brain. Anyway, so these guys go into the casino. They find their dude, but instead of getting to that dude, here's the thing: they get arrested for, guess what? Their ship being parked on the beach. As a great director would say, what a twist! He's not great. We just got M. Night Shyamalan. Speaking of which, does anyone feel like Rian Johnson is sort of like a junior M. Night Shyamalan? Like, this entire movie was about subverting our expectations. We wanted Rey to be the daughter of someone. She's a nobody. We wanted this to happen. No, Leia was to die. Nope. He subverts our expectations, but they really don't go anywhere. We're just taking different roads to the same destination. What could have happened was we took a different path to another destination. What Rian Johnson should have done was instead let the choices he makes have a lasting consequence. The choices he makes actually take us down a new road we never thought could happen. The main point of Star Wars is that you pick your own destiny. You choose how you want everything to go down. Therefore, it would be such an interesting concept for whatever choice he made would have a lasting consequence. But it never happens. We don't get to see it happen. Why? Because he's a freaking dummy! Boy. I did say I like this film, right? Anyway, so instead of having those lasting consequences, we have the subverting our expectations. And instead of just subverting our expectations to make us mad, I mean to bring on an interesting concept, he subverts our expectations for the sole reason of making us mad. The other day he just said, your Snoke theory sucks and so does mine. That's not how you respond to the fan base. No, dude, you need help. Seriously. Help. I just don't get it. Why would you intentionally make us mad about Star Wars? Why would you make Star Wars mad for us? Why would we be mad about Star Wars? That's like getting your kid in trouble so you can intentionally be mad at him for no reason. What? Rian Johnson subverted our expectations for the sole purpose of making us mad. Anywhoozers, we go back to the island with Rey and Luke, and this is where Rey looks into her reflection. She sees a mirror of infiniteness. She sees so many of herself, and this is where my meme came up. Let me see them. Let me see them. My parents. My parents. Bum, 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 bum. Who are Rey's parents? It looks like we're about to see her mom. It was so close. We could practically get there. We just need to see her parents. We need to know who they are. You can't have spent a whole movie building this up. The mist is clearing. We get to see Rey's mom. Or May's dad, I don't care. We get to see Rey's parents. And then when I'm without you, never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you. I'll kill myself later on. Trust me, I will. Anyway, so I hate this scene. I really do think that of all the scenes in this movie, this is probably on my top 3 most hated scenes ever. Why? Why is it so hated? Because J.J. Abrams spent an entire movie building this up. Rian Johnson is a completely different person. He is another dude who does not want to take Rian Johnson's crap. I mean, he doesn't want to take J.J. Abrams' crap. He wants to make his own Star Wars story. Stick with one director. Lord of the Rings had Peter Jackson. The prequel trilogy had George Lucas. How is it so hard to follow a formula with one director, with one vision in mind? How hard is it, Disney? How do you keep on messing this up? How? I hate this scene because we were given a whole movie to think about whose Rey parents are. In fact, it's the sole purpose we waited 2 years for this movie. It's the sole purpose this movie broke box office records. It broke the Star Wars fan base. It broke literally everything in its way. Because we wanted to see Rey's parents. And here we are being told by Kylo Ren himself that Rey is a nobody. Speaking of which, I haven't spoken about Kylo Ren or Snoke a lot in this movie, so let's divert our attention from Rey and her nobodiness to Kylo and Snoke, his somebodyness. So when the dreadnought got destroyed, we have Snoke, and this is Snoke's, like, okay, I wouldn't say it's his first appearance because we saw him in the Force Awakens, and he's in a hologram again. But here's where it gets funny. He drags General Hux on the ground. First he keeps on dropping him on his face, then he scoots him around the ground using his face as a mop. I'm not gonna lie, even though I just said I didn't find General Hux funny, that was one of the funniest scenes in the movie. General Hux just sliding on the ground. I half expected Snoke to make him clean the Star Destroyer windows. It was that funny. Anyway, so we get to see Snoke in the living flesh, or at least Andy Serkis putting on as some kind of costume in the living flesh. I guess they did find a way to put Gollum in the Star Wars universe. Who knew? Anyway, so we get to find Snoke in his golden dress. Looks like he's chilling out, man. You're living the high life. And we have Kylo Ren come in, and this is just so cool. I find this to be a really cool part of the movie, where Snoke gets so mad at Kylo Ren, calling him a childish boy, doing nothing but copying his grandfather, which in The Force Awakens is what everyone complained about, while like Kylo Ren copies his grandfather. Kylo Ren is disgusting, boo, make him his own person. In this movie, Rian Johnson actually listened to one of our complaints. Whether you guys like it or not, Rian Johnson listened to one of our complaints. He did not subvert our expectations. Instead, he listened to the fans. All those people out there who say that Rian Johnson didn't listen to the fans, Rian Johnson sucks. Well, check yourself again, because Rian Johnson, for the first time in this movie, in about the 10-minute mark, he did listen to the fans. Before he completely subverted our expectations and made us mad, he listened to the fans. In the last movie, we were mad because Kylo Ren was sort of like a discount Darth Vader. In this movie, look what happens. Snoke bounces lightning off the ground. Oh my god, that is the coolest thing ever. He bounces lightning off the ground, hits Kylo Ren and tells him stop being a child. Kylo Ren leaves the room. He's in the elevator, takes off his mask and starts to destroy it. Once he gets out of the elevator, all we get of the mask is a hot mess. That is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. We get Kylo Ren's turmoil. Does he want to be like his grandfather? Does he not want to be like his grandfather? Is Snoke teaching him the right rules? Why is Snoke being such a cold-hearted bleep? And on top of everything else, Kylo Ren wants to be his own person. Instead of being the emo teenager from the previous movie, he's actually trying to mature. In fact, if anything, nobody actually matured in this movie. Absolutely no one matured in this movie except Kylo Ren, the villain. How is it that you gave no one any character depth but the villain? Rey got her character depth, but that would be like a 20% improvement. Kylo Ren got like the 80% improvement. He got improved in so many aspects, it makes you forget about the other characters in the film. Actually, that's a lie. A lot of other characters do get development. Like Paul, he got degraded. In the first movie, he hated himself. At the end of it, he started to love himself again. Here could have been his chance to be a real warrior, and he could have sacrificed himself in the end. But nope. Now what are you gonna do with Poe in the third one? I don't know. You don't know. I don't even think J.J. Abrams knows. Now, we continue. So Kylo Ren, as I said, he's wondering whether he should kill his mother. He chooses not to kill his mother, meaning he still has a heart. He still has love for his parent, even though he abandoned her all those years back. Kylo Ren still has feelings for his mother. And it kind of makes me wonder how he would react when she dies in episode 9, because I know she's gonna die in episode 9. So it kind of makes me wonder how he'll react to it once he finds out that the only source of light left on the light side of the Force, aside from Rey, the only hope for him to return back, his mother, has passed. It's such a nice idea and such a cool theory to go into. Kylo Ren actually having feelings for his mother. Maybe he had a rocky relationship with his dad, but you could tell he really did love his mother and really hesitated to kill her. I mean, it was an attempted murder, but like still, man. So after that, Kylo Ren now has a Force connection with Rey that Snoke put through. It's sort of like a Force phone call, you know? Anyway, so Snoke puts in a Force connection between Kylo and Rey. And this is where we get some of the best interactions in the movie. Rey also gets her character developed, and Kylo Ren gets his character developed. They both each want something out of each other. So Rey hates Kylo Ren. She's like, you're such a devilish snake. And then Kylo Ren's like, no regrets, man. And we even get to see where matter is transported through the Force, where the water splashes on Rey, but Kylo feels it instead of Rey. These are some of the most nicest looking parts of the movie, and even JJ knows it. I mean, not JJ, but Ryan Johnson knows it. He knows what he's doing, man. But nonetheless, we continue. So Rey and Kylo keep on having these interactions, and you could tell their relationship is growing closer. No, I don't mean a Reylo relationship. I mean more like a friendship relationship, more like a caring relationship, where Kylo wants to turn Rey to the dark side and teach her his ways and actually take her on. And Rey wants Kylo to return to the light. Remember the life he once had and embrace it, instead of running away from it like the heroes of the past did, where your heroes can disappoint you. He should embrace his love for his family, for his galaxy, and for everyone who was close to him before he joined the First Order. Those were some of the best scenes in the movie. Even Rey talking to Kylo by the fireplace. When these guys are even touching fingertips, you are on the edge of your seat. Luke comes in and destroys the place. He gets triggered AF. Boom! Oh, beautiful. Back on Canto Bight, we have Finn and Rose, who are now arrested, and they meet this dude called DJ. Not yet, DJ. Keep it down. So, that was another DJ, but they meet DJ. And DJ, let me just say, Benicio del Toro is honestly one of my favorite characters in the movie. You see, The Last Jedi introduced 3 new characters. We have Benicio del Toro, also known as DJ. We have Rose, and we have Holdo. And DJ is my favorite character in the movie. In fact, of the three new characters, he is my sole favorite character in the movie. Reason being, he's just so smooth. He knows what he's saying. He knows how to act. And on top of everything else, his role in the movie is so good. And he does display a new message. So, I'll get to that message in a bit. Here's what happens. So he gets Rose and Finn out to them. After Rose talking about how the city sucks, about how she wishes she could punch her hand through it, I gagged in the cinema. I'm not like, I gagged, man. That scene was so bad. But after that nonsense, these guys escape, and then they ride on these spates, goat, llama, horse thingies. I really can't tell what they are, but from what I can say is that their design looks so unoriginal. Honestly, man, I mean, their design sucked. I'm not gonna lie. And then we get the highlight of Mark Hamill's performance. Yes, forget Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill gave his all to a little creature who puts coins in BB-8. I think I'm mixing scenes up here, but please go along with me. So, these guys go along on their ride, and immediately they get out of there. They get on Benicio's ship. Why am I saying his name so wrong? I'm so sorry, Benicio. If you're watching this, please forgive me. Anyway, they get away on his ship. And then we even find out that DJ, for him, at least his name DJ, is not really his real name. DJ really stands for don't join. And that's what he named himself after. Don't join. Don't join what, you might ask? Don't join the First Order? Don't join the Resistance? Don't join the war entirely? I don't know, but it's sort of a nice slogan. And this is where his nice message comes in. Finn is looking through the ship, and we find out that some ships are being stolen. X-Wings, B-Wings, and lo and behold, TIE Fighters! And so now Finn is wondering, what the crap are you doing, man? Huh? Oh, I'm just selling. But you can't sell to one side and sell to the other. That's traitorism. You'll be killed for treason. I can't believe you're doing this for the bad guys. And this is where we get one of the best messages in the movie. Aside from failure, DJ tells them who's really the bad guy. Who are really people looking from one point of view to another point of view. Think about it. It's just a beautiful message. To some people, the Resistance are the good guys. To some, they're the bad guys. And who knows, maybe in episode 9 we'll even get to see some planets with First Order sympathizers. Because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're the good guy or the bad guy. Same thing is, you are still in this struggle. Yes, we are with these characters. We're with the main characters. So we, in our perspective, see them as good guys. They are the heroes. But to some other people, the First Order are the heroes who are being oppressed by the Resistance. And it's such a nice message that gets cut away in 10 minutes. What are you doing, movie? Anyway, Oh, there are a lot of anyways in this video, aren't there? So, that has that to my health. We have Rey and Luke have their little fight. Luke is like, what are you doing, man? Why are you talking to my nephew? And then Rey's like, I know I can save him. Kylo Ren just needs to be saved. There is just hope for him. I know this. We can still save him. Think about it, Luke. 30 plus years ago, you saved your father. You saved your father from the hands of the Empire and from the hands of Darth Vader himself. You brought him back to the light. Why couldn't you do the same for your nephew? Vader had been killing people for 20 years and his nephew just got trained by Snoke. His nephew had just met Snoke. Yet here he is trying to kill him. And Luke finally explains it. He put the nail in the coffin. He's the one who officiated Ben Solo turning into Kylo Ren. It's such a heartbreaking tragedy that I don't even mind it. Most people complain that Luke tried to kill Kylo Ren at a young age just because he sensed the evil in him. But to me, it's such a beautiful scene. Well, Luke doesn't want to go through the same thing again. He doesn't want to see the galaxy in turmoil again because of his father's actions. Now it will turn into it again because of his actions. Luke caused the creation of Kylo Ren because of his actions. And it does hit the nail on the coffin that this is a space drama where we get to see family ties and how wrong they can go. Luke regrets everything he did on that night. He regretted trying to kill Kylo Ren, and he regretted so much. And you could see the pain he had. And mind you, that was only one of the scenes where Luke actually got to use his green lightsaber. I swear. The main reason I went to go see this movie, aside from knowing whose Rey's parents are, is so that Luke could show off his green lightsaber. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to see that green lightsaber in action. After we only got to see one movie of it, I really wanted to see Jedi Luke use the green lightsaber going everywhere like crazy. And Kylo Ren, would have, he would have given Kylo Ren his blue lightsaber. By the way, the reason I didn't even do a video on Star Wars a year and a half ago was because I already, get this, I already did a theory video on it. In fact, that was my first YouTube video ever. So if I were you, I would actually go through my channel and check out that first video where I did my theory video on Star Wars The Last Jedi, right after you subscribe and after this video. But anyway, yeah, Luke regrets everything he did that night, and Kylo, I don't know, he doesn't know as well. And Luke and both of these people believe they're on the wrong. The simple thing to do would be to say sorry to one another, but each person is too proud to do it. In fact, at the end of the movie, Luke even says, I forgive you, and that just enrages Kylo even more. In all honesty, I don't know who's in the wrong here. Kylo did get training from Snoke. He did turn to the dark side already, although he hadn't fully committed to it. And Luke did try to kill his nephew in the middle of the night instead of trying to reason with him, save him like how he saved his father. In all honesty, both these people should have said sorry to each other, and they should have both forgiven each other for the wrongs they have made. However, we were 15 years too little, too late. At least that's what I'm assuming, 15 years. So Rey leaves Luke, going to help Kylo on her own. Then, this is where sort of like all the plots now converge, where Finn, Rose, and DJ get on the new dreadnought and start to take out the hyperspace tracking system, where even DJ is like, yo, can you trust me? Rose is like, nah, can you trust me? Okay, fine. And that's when DJ even takes over. Then they get inside, but DJ sells them out. Like literally, they're just surrounded by stormtroopers. It's like, sorry man, I didn't mean it. So DJ gets his money and Finn and Rose are ready for execution. And Captain Phasma comes back. I mean, at the end of episode 7, I really didn't think she was dead. Yes, Starkiller Base blew up, but I don't know, for some reason at the back of my mind there was this niggly feeling telling me, yeah, she ain't dead, man. And they even made a book right after they released a teaser trailer for The Last Jedi. So like, I already saw it a mile away, man. Anyway, Captain Phasma came back. Oh, and guess what? She only gets 3 minutes of screen time. That's even less time than she got in Force Awakens. Shock and horror. Anyway, so even though Captain Phasma didn't get a lot in this movie, Finn and Rose are ready for execution. But at that same time, a few minutes ago, the Millennium Falcon jumps into hyperspace. Chewie lets go of an escape pod and jumps again. That was actually kind of funny. Then Rey lands in the hangar bay, where the First Order arrests her. Kylo Ren is ready for her and takes her to Snoke. Rey tries to convince Kylo Ren, "You're not evil, man. We can still change this." Kylo Ren's like, "Shut up, man." So they finally go to Snoke's throne room, and this, I don't know how to feel about this scene, honestly. I don't know whether I should say the scene is a ripoff or I really love this scene. Because in all honesty, the third act of this movie feels a lot like Return of the Jedi. I'm not even joking. This part of the movie feels so much like Return of the Jedi. I don't even know how to express myself. You see, Return of the Jedi is my favorite original trilogy movie. It's just a perfect close to everything. So it kind of made me mad that episode 7 was made. But other than that, we find out that we find out that this is such a cop-out of the Return of the Jedi. I honestly don't know whose side to go on here. I don't know whether I should say this scene is a cop-out but still executed well, or whether I just love this scene for the atmosphere it's oozing. It's so great. Andy Serkis is really putting his all into Snoke being here. Kylo Ren is really hiding his feelings here, and Rey is so hopeless. This is honestly one of the better scenes in the movie. In fact, I would dare say it's the best scene in the movie, and not because it looks great, but because it feels great. This is one of those moments in the movie where it feels like Star Wars, like you're actually watching a Star Wars movie. Once again, I don't know whether it's a Return of the Jedi cop-out, but I like it all the same. Anyway, so Snoke starts to read Kylo Ren's mind. He's like, "I can feel him looking at his greatest enemy, ready to kill him." This is honestly one of the better scenes in the movie, where Kylo Ren is just thinking so hard. You can even see the concentration in his face. He's like, "My greatest enemy is not you, man. It's not you, Rey. It's freaking Snoke. It's Snoke. I gotta think of my greatest enemy, but I can't say his name out loud." And then Snoke dies. I actually liked his death. I'm not mad. Normally I would have said, they should have waited for the third movie to kill him, but honestly I'm not mad. I like it that Kylo Ren is now the big boss and not Snoke. So now Snoke is out of the picture. And no, I don't think that maybe a spirit of his is hiding somewhere in the galaxy, or whether there's actually another Snoke, whether this was just an illusion. Nope. I want to believe that Snoke is actually dead. Andy Serkis, don't come back to Star Wars. Well, maybe you can, but come as someone else. And as yourself in your own skin, please. So, yeah, so Snoke is dead, and the Praetorian Guards attack. Now this is basically the only lightsaber fight you get in the film, and I don't even count it as a lightsaber fight. Force Awakens had such a good lightsaber fight. It was so iconic. Up to this day, every time I imagine a lightsaber fight, the first thing I think of is a snow-covered forest. It was so good. Yes, it wasn't the best lightsaber fight ever. It was anticlimactic, but you could just sense the atmosphere, the way the people were fighting. That is how you do a lightsaber battle. Here, however, it just seems like they did it for the sake of doing it. There was no lightsaber battle in this. Way to subvert our expectations, Rian Johnson. You took away the one thing that we expect from Star Wars. You took away a lightsaber battle. It's all I expect. You don't do that anymore. What? Has Disney just decided to get away from lightsabers? So one day I'm going to do a podcast on Star Wars about how Disney just wants to get away from the Force, and all they want to do is focus on war. I think Disney is kind of on a war path, but they want to do it where people don't die. I'm going to do a podcast on that another day. Probably not today, probably not this week, but I promise I will do it before the month is over. I will do a podcast discussion on how Disney is really torturing Star Wars by not giving the people what they want. But yeah, are you just not doing lightsaber battles anymore? It's the only thing I expect. This is a Star Wars movie. Give me something lightsabery, Jesus! I didn't mention I like this film, right? So, the Praetorian Guards get their butts kicked, and if you slow down the fight, you can see that everything is lazily shot, like a dude throws his stuff away. Let's not forget the disappearing knife. We all love that scene. But yeah, I found it to be a really good moment, and then we get where Kylo Ren tries to turn Rey to the dark side. Rian Johnson. Dear Rian Johnson, if you are ever in the near future watching this video and you wanted to subvert our expectations with this movie, this was the perfect chance. We could have had Rey turn to the dark side. You could have had her become Kylo's apprentice, and then in the next film she kills Kylo, becomes the head of the dark side, and then the resistance defeats her one way or another. And then it could have been something awesome. Maybe she turns back into the light at the end of the movie. Give us some subversion. This would have been the perfect time to do it, but nope. Let's instead have Holdo die instead of Leia. So Rey doesn't join Kylo. Big whoop. Like how? How do you mess this up so badly? What the crap? This could have been, if you really wanted to subvert our expectations, this could have been a perfect time to do it. I'm not saying I hated that she stayed in the light side, but wow, you decided to go down this path, yet you refused to do it. Once again, Rian Johnson, as I said, when you make a Star Wars choice, make sure that choice has consequences. Make sure that choice actually lasts throughout not this film, but the next film. That is exactly what J.J. Abrams did with The Force Awakens. Why can't you do the same thing? Damn it! Star Wars has broken me, you know? I loved it. There was a time I loved it. I still love it up to this day. And I'm just ranting here. Don't worry, I'm gonna say good stuff by the end of the video. You probably wouldn't believe me. You probably wouldn't know what I'm saying. But I do have good things about this movie. It's just that the bad things are so glaringly bad. I can understand why not a lot of people like this now. Oh boy, kill me. Anyway. So Rey becomes a good guy. And here's where... And then we get this part. So we find out that there's a mutiny in the resistance that Poe is leading. So I was on Poe's side here because Holdo was such a bleep. But here is where things just go haywire. So Poe goes up to Holdo and then he's like, girl, we're taking you down. Then Leia, honestly I'm not lying, this is one of the best things in the movie because it's just so funny. Leia just comes out and shoots Poe. I cannot make this stuff up. An injured old woman shoots a young male. Who could have seen that coming a mile away? Oh yeah, and 3PO. He was in this movie. I completely forgot about 3PO. R2 had more character than him. So, after Poe gets knocked out, the Resistance decides to leave to, I think, Crate. That was planet Crate, if I'm not wrong. And Holdo decides to stay aboard and shoot the ship into the blockade, I would say, since there are a lot of ships. Now here's where my problem comes in. A lot of people say that, oh, why don't people use this as a way to, why don't people use hyperdrive as a way to kill other ships? Why don't people use hyperdrive to do this and that? I really don't care. Little details like that don't bother me. But what bothers me is this big, glaring detail. Instead of Holdo leaving the ship and taking care of the Resistance herself, seeing as she's supposed to be Leia's follow-up, Holdo goes on and kills herself in the hyperspace ram. Now, I'm not gonna lie, out of all my favorite spots in this film, this is probably my second favorite. My favorite scene in the entire movie will come up in about the next 10 to 20 minutes, but by far, this is my second favorite scene in the entire movie. Holdo goes onto the Star Destroyer and just destroys that blockade. Every single ship, the Dreadnought, the other Star Destroyers, all go poof like that. In all honesty, that was practically my favorite scene from the movie. It was just amazing. I mean, it's not my favorite scene, it's the second favorite scene, but that scene was so beautifully shot. There was silence. You didn't have to explain why you loved it so much. The lightsaber ram was such an amazing, new, inventive thing. It showed that this movie could be creative. This movie was, albeit, as much as this movie likes to tread on all territory, it is a very, very creative movie. Rian Johnson, you get another point for that. But, going back to my points. So, after the lightspeed ram, Holdo dies, right? Here's where my problem comes in. Instead of it being Holdo, it should have been Leia. You fools killed the wrong Skywalker. Instead of killing Leia, you killed Luke. Why would you do that? Under any circumstances, why would you kill your flagship boy? Luke was the only person that people would come back to watch Star Wars, and you just kill him right there and then. Why? I hate you all. I hate my life. And I hate everything. So, Holdo, I'm so tired right now. Holdo blasts through the ship. She destroys the entire blockade. It was an amazing scene. Everyone loves it, except, I hate Holdo. And what bugs me the most is that Leia should have done it. Even if you didn't know that Carrie Fisher was gonna die a few months later on, Leia should have died in that thing. That was practically the only way Leia could have gone out. In all the ways for Leia to die, the way her character is so important, the way her character just enriches Star Wars, that was the only way Leia could have died. In the grand scheme of things, that was the only way Leia could have died. The only way, I swear, the only way Leia could have died in the Star Wars universe was by hyperspacing through another ship. A creative, new, innovative way to bring out one of your most popular characters. That's all I gotta say. So let's look back on our buddy Luke. We haven't seen him in a long while. So after his fight with Rey, he goes to burn down the Jedi temple. I think, the Jedi tree thing. And then that's when Yoda stops him. Yoda's like, no, don't do that. And then Luke's like, why not, man? And then Yoda destroys it himself. A Force ghost summons lightning. He controls the weather, summons lightning, and destroys the ancient Jedi texts. And then Luke's like, man, what'd you do that for? That was thousands of years of Jedi texts. And then Yoda comes up to him. Page turners, they were not. Did you even bother to read them? And that's when Luke figures it out. Oh, shoot, man. I didn't read them at all. But Yoda tells Luke, Rey carried them. And you can even see it in the last few scenes of the movie. The ancient texts are on the Millennium Falcon with Rey. So we know she snugged them off before she got off the ship. So one, I'll actually congratulate Rey on, you know, keeping the Jedi Order alive. She actually was able to save the Jedi Order and keep their memories alive. So points up for Rey. What if you call her Mary Sue, whatever. So yeah, so Rey saved the Jedi text, and Luke goes to the tree. And now Luke sits down on the ground, and Yoda tells him failure is important, because with failure, you learn from your mistakes. And with failure, you get to improve. That's when Luke gets that twinkle in his eye. The same twinkle we saw from the original trilogy. Luke, our hero, was coming back. So, now we get the final act of the film. All of these plot points merge together. Finally, I can tell you one cohesive story without me going to different places and without me dying. I swear, I am so tired of doing this review in 1 hour than The Last Jedi could in 2 hours. Guys, I'm tired. I'm not making a part 2. I don't cop out like that. I'm gonna give you the whole story. So, now that I've wasted your hour, let's continue. So back on Crate, we have the final battle. The First Order is off in the distance with their cannon, ready to destroy the Resistance. Then the Resistance is like, what are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? 3PO's like, what are we gonna do? And then they send out the ships. These are old ships they used during the rebellion age. They were battered down, sure, but they looked amazing. And this is where the climax just gets so good, man. I love this. This was the best 10 to 20 minutes of my life. I'm not lying. This climax was so amazing. I am not joking. This is not a joke. This climax was beautiful. The ships start racing. They start shooting out the wind beneath them is so large that they even start to bring up the red surface of the planet. They start racing towards the gorillas. I think they call them those new machines. I think they call them the gorillas. They start racing with all their might. They're going. They're hitting every mark they can reach. As I said, this was amazing. They're shooting them down. They're dodging. They're blasting back. They're trying to destroy the cannon. Everything about this was beautiful. I think I'm starting to cry right now because that scene was nothing short of amazing. I was like, yes, this is Star Wars. It took me 2 hours. And I finally got my Star Wars I deserved. It was so beautiful and amazing. We have the First Order on one side, the Resistance on the other side. Even Rey is getting chased through the crystal caverns by the First Order. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's weaving in and out. She's such a good pilot, even though she's, been showed to be a Mary Sue. New, blast, Q, all that crazy stuff. And then we get to the climax of it all. However, all good things must come to an end. But bad things always last. You see, we have Finn. Finn is the last ship that's standing. He's going against the cannon. He's racing to it. It's the race against time. He knows that if he does not destroy this cannon, all his Resistance friends are done. This is when he officially becomes a resistance member. This is when he decides to join the resistance and become the soldier he was always meant to be. He races into the cannon. It slowly begins to melt the ship and his body, but he doesn't mind it. He knows what he's about to do. He will be remembered for generations. Nope! Rose X Krakena. I'm not even gonna call it a Machina because it was so bad. Rose just comes out of the blue and destroys Finn's ship just like that. She just shoots it down and boom, Finn is on the ground. And it was at this moment in time that she knew she screwed up. From this moment on, I hated Rose. Throughout the entire film, I didn't mind her character. She had good flaws about her. She had good characteristics. She was a nice female lead. But then Disney just remembered, wait a minute, we have a good female lead. We're to make her bad so that we can call the entire Star Wars fan base sexist. So, Rose turned out to be a bad character for me. It was from that moment on I hated her. She stopped Finn, and now the cannon is still operating and the First Order is pressing on. And you know what she says? This was honestly the best and worst line of the movie. It's not about destroying what we hate. It's about saving what we love. Then she gives Finn a kiss. I hated the kiss. That kiss was unnecessary. And on top of everything else, that line would have been so great under the circumstances. Finn didn't have a personal connection with that cannon. Finn didn't see the cannon as a threat. They weren't like brothers, and then the cannon's like telling Finn, I'm better than you, man. You gotta deal with it. No, no, no. 100 times no. What is wrong with you? Are you okay? Do you need to see Dr. William? I don't know who Dr. William is, but are you okay? Do you need help? Do you need help? Okay? That is not what I paid for. I did not pay to come and see a Star Wars movie where Finn gets told that it's not about saving the things we love. Quaddy, what? He hang out with the cannon? He and the cannon were best friends? They went on dates? They went on dates? Why didn't you tell me you went on dates? I'm so tired, I'm just babbling nonsense right now. Let's put an end to my misery. So, as I was saying, under the right circumstances, this could have worked so well on so many levels. Honestly, under the right circumstances, you could have made this such a beautiful moment. If it was something that Finn really hated, he would have lost all the attention from the resistance. Honestly, I kind of live by this motto. If Finn focused so much on what he hated, he could have destroyed the resistance. Because he was focusing so much on what he hated, he didn't focus on the resistance enough to save it. He couldn't care about it. But here, he was saving the resistance. He was actually protecting what he loved. Oh, wait. I think Rose had a mirror or something. You know, she had a morality mirror. She's sick. Like me. Bleh. So, now the resistance is gunned down. They don't know what they want to do with themselves anymore. They are surrounded, they're trapped, they're lost. That's when he comes. My hero. My favorite Star Wars character of all time. Who got tarnished in this movie but then remembered. Luke. He comes out of nowhere. He gives Leia the golden dice, which is important for some reason. I think this was the first movie with the golden dice, and then Solo expanded on it. Like, why? Anyway, so he gives Leia the golden dice, and he's like, yo, keep these for me, or remember it for Han. So he goes and faces the First Order. This is what we wanted. We wanted to see Luke kill every single person, and with every single step was brutality. Let the hate flow through me. You know what happened? He was a Force vision. Now, here comes one of the most decisive things for me. I don't hate the Force vision thing. Honestly, I said, I like how this movie tapped into different secrets and powers of the Force. I like how this movie kind of introduced more powers of the Force in more ways than one. I really did like it. I honestly liked how this movie showed how you could use different powers of the Force, such as Force communication, Force visions, Force phone calls, and things like that. I really did like how Rian Johnson, got creative with it. Instead of making the Jedi suddenly fly, he actually, eased into it and showed us things about the Force we've never seen in any Star Wars movie. So that was on the one hand. On the other hand, I'm kind of bummed Luke never showed up to the actual fight himself, because that would have been sick, dude. I'm not lying. So they blast Luke. Luke moves the dust off his shoulder. Kylo Ren goes to fight him. They have a sick fight, except they don't touch each other's lightsabers. Again, Disney. Do you have some kind of lightsaber avoidance? Are you lightsaber phobic? Are you force afraid? Are you forceophobic? I mean, what? Why? Why do you hate Jedi and lightsabers and all that crap? And if you do introduce a Jedi, they're barely trained. They can barely hold their own in a lightsaber fight. They're weak sauce. So, they don't have an official battle yet. But then, we get Luke. And he tells Kylo Ren one of the lines that I think should just be remembered for everyone. You guys all remember episode 4, right? And Obi-Wan telling Vader, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Luke does the same with Kylo Ren. Strike me down with all of your anger and I will come back more powerful than you imagine. That is such a beautiful callback to the original trilogy. This isn't a joke. This is serious, man. Honestly, that was the most beautiful comeback I've ever had. We get to see this person who has been through so much in his time. He has seen his master fall and he has seen his enemies rise and go. He knows what to say in every situation, and this was just an example of how great he went. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Those were the most beautiful lines I have ever heard. Strike me down with all of your anger, and I will come back more powerful. Kylo Ren tries to strike Luke down. Luke is like, see you around, kid, and disappears. I was there. I was shocked. I didn't think Disney had the balls to go for it. But again, they do love the original trilogy, so that kind of explains it for them. But they did it. They actually gave Luke a character arc. And a character arc that ended off well. Some people hated Luke in The Last Jedi, but I, for one, loved his character. As much as I've been ranting about him, he had such of a beautiful character. And even Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill knew this would be the last time he would be playing Luke in the flesh. He would know he would come back as a Force ghost, so he might as well play Luke with all the action and stuff. He knew that this was the last time he was going to introduce Luke in a beautiful light. And it had been about 40 years since he had been back with Luke. Therefore, Mark Hamill gave it his best. Honestly, I'm not lying, this is Mark Hamill's best performance ever as Luke Skywalker. He just fits into the role so perfectly, you can't believe it's him. Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker is one of the most amazing things ever. And his role in this movie just demonstrated that for me. Is he my favorite Luke version? No. Episode 6 Luke is still my favorite. But the way Mark Hamill portrayed him in this movie, the way Mark Hamill acted as Luke and gave it his all in this movie shows that even Mark loves Star Wars, that he has a soft spot passion for it. And even though actors cannot be directors, I mean they can be directors, but even though Mark Hamill had no say in the matter, you could tell he really enjoyed what he was doing, but he did not like the story he was given. And so Luke's character arc ends there. We get to see Luke lying down on his rock. As he sits down, he looks at the planet's twin suns. The same twin suns that were there when he was on Tatooine. We get his beautiful music playing in the background, done by what's his name? John, the music dude, that John dude. Forgetting his name. But we get to have the music playing in the background. It is Luke's theme music. It introduces us about the hero we once knew and loved 40 years ago. Come back to us. Luke looks at the twin suns. He has fulfilled it. He has come back to the light. He has become the hero he was meant to be. After renouncing his Jedi and hero roles, Luke has come back as a hero, a Jedi, and he even tells Kylo Ren, I am not the last Jedi. It was at this moment in time when so many things happened. Rey has officially become a Jedi, and on top of everything else, Luke passes away. He sits down on his rock looking at the twin suns, the same twin suns he grew up with when he was a child. He looks at them with such fondness in his eyes. He begins to wither. He starts to soon disappear. And before we know it, Luke Skywalker is gone. All he leaves is his robes and his lightsaber. He has become one with the cosmic force. Rest in peace, Luke. That was such a beautiful ending. Luke Skywalker ended in one of the most amazing ways possible. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That is how his death should be. Anything. Like, if you were to make a non-canon comic or anything, Luke Skywalker should die looking at the twin suns. He looks at the twin suns, knows that his mission is complete. He has trained one more person in his life. He has forgiven himself for all the wrongs he has done. He has even forgiven Kylo Ren for the wrongs he has done. Though he hasn't apologized, he knows there is still hope. Hope. And just like that, Luke dies. It was such a teary moment in the cinema. I couldn't believe how much I got teary-eyed. I didn't cry, but I was very close. And so, the movie ends there. Luke bought some time for the Resistance to escape. The Resistance gets on the Millennium Falcon. That's right. So many Resistance members have died. They got on the Millennium Falcon and escaped. This was the last handful of Resistance members, all of whom had died at the First Order. Finally, the last handful, probably about 20 people in total, got onto the Millennium Falcon with Rey, who lifted an entire mass of boulders. You should see the movie. How many rocks did she lift with such little training? Rey is way too OP, people. But yeah, Rey lifted all those boulders, got the Resistance out of there, and escaped. However, her lightsaber was broken as she and Kylo Ren had fought over it. Leia told her it's fine, they can rebuild it. She even looks at the Resistance. There is always a way to rebuild. Everyone looks at each other. They're all grateful they're alive. And that is where the movie ends. And so ends the longest Star Wars movie ever. I am tired. Good night, people. Whew. Now, let me give you my overall synopsis of things. First of all, the ending didn't make a lot of sense to me. Why were people happy? They should have been crying. They should have been on their knees. They should have been consoling each other. At that point in time, I didn't know who won the battle. Obviously, the First Order won, but I was so confused. My brother had to clarify for me that yes, the bad guys did win in this film. And that was one of the film's things, failure. But now let me get on about this movie. Let me start off with the story. The story is really original and great. True, it does have a bit of Empire Strikes Back and it has a bit of The Last Jedi. So, and it does have a lot of problems overall. The story is really original and great. It follows a lot of aspects that nobody thought would happen. As said, it does follow Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back beats, but it doesn't follow them beat for beat. It just borrows a few aspects from them to help strengthen the story. The story itself is kind of flimsy and all over the place. For example, Holdo not telling Poe what's going on, and the Canto Bite scene was just filler so you could reach the 30-minute mark, couldn't you? But otherwise, it's so good. We get to have dilemmas, we get to have failures. Some of these people do fail on their own account because of dumbness, but on others, people fail because sometimes there really isn't a choice. And now let's even talk about the aesthetics of the film. The aesthetics are beautiful. 10 out of 10, man. Everything looks so amazing and great. Snoke doesn't look like a cartoon anymore. The action scenes are so packed with amazing fullness and beauty. Everything just seems to flow well and it just looks so perfect. The only thing wrong was that there wasn't any lightsaber scenes. Again, Disney, do you have some kind of phobia? And honestly, I just felt like this movie just blew me away. With every action set piece, with every silent moment, with every talking moment, the film would blow me away. It was only at the clunky and unsure moments that they kind of ruined it for me. But I am positive that if Disney keeps this up, they will be able to make more beautiful Star Wars films. If they keep up their amazing work, they will be able to create some of the most amazing Star Wars films to date. Not just because of the story, but because of the look. It makes you feel as if you're in another universe. It makes you feel like you are part of Star Wars. Not just a viewer, but feeling in the experience. It was something that the original trilogy had. The prequel trilogy kind of failed at it. And Solo, don't even get me on Solo, man. Solo was too dark. Not because it was a dark film, but because the lighting was just too dark. But you could tell they really did put their all into it. They knew that if this was going to be one of the main lineup movies, they needed to hit it with all they've got. So, let's talk about the characters then. Luke was such... How should I start? Should I start with the bad characters? Let me start with the bad characters so I can go to the good characters. The bad characters, Holdo and Rose. Holdo was such a boring No, it was Holdo who was a terrible character. Holdo just acted like one of those people who feel like they're bougie, like they're better than everyone else. Like, you know, they can live with Archie. I'm better than you. Look at me. I'm so awesome. I hated Holdo. And the fact that she got Leia's death, the fact that Admiral Holdo got Leia's death boils my blood. Every scene she's in just demeanors the other people around the room. She just makes everyone feel less for no reason other than to make herself feel more important. Holdo just... God, I hate Holdo. But then you have Rose. Rose was boring. At the first part, in the first act of the movie, she was spicy. In the second act, she was boring. In the third act, you didn't even know what to do about her anymore. She was such a wasted character. They had so much potential for her, and they just threw it out the window like that. Now, in fact, the reason I think why Rose is injured is because Disney wants to see whether she'll live or not. If the fans like her, she'll live. If they don't like her, she'll die. So at least Disney will try to listen to the fans one more time. Then we have DJ. DJ is honestly one of my favorite characters because he knows what he's doing. He knows his place in the Star Wars universe. Unlike most people who are unsure, DJ follows his rules and lives by his rules alone. No one else's. And he is such an amazing character and a delight to sit through. Honestly, if you're watching The Last Jedi, just pay more attention to the DJ scenes than any other. Then we have Finn. Finn was such a good character in the first movie. In fact, I kind of thought of him as the main character. He had such potential. He had the most beautiful arc the no one in the Star Wars universe had, and that was being an ex-stormtrooper. For a point in my life, I actually wondered how the life of a stormtrooper is. Is it hard? Is it scary? How is it seeing your friends die every day and have poor aim? And then Finn kind of answered that question, except his friends actually have good aim. But he really does shine as a character. He really knows how to handle a situation. That was in the first movie when he wanted to run away from everything. He at least had the military stuff to do what he wanted. He's kind of boring, honestly. Like, all the potential he had was wasted. The only saving grace for him was his death. And guess what? Rose had to muck that up too. So no, Finn didn't die. Now I don't even know what they want to do with him in episode 9. It just kind of ruins everything that came before then. Then we have Poe. Poe was actually more like a teenager in this movie than the last one. In the last one, he acted at least like a competent soldier who knew how to soldier, but at the same time add comedic drama to everything. Here, he just acted more like a whiny teenager who just wanted to break the rules for the sake of breaking the rules. I don't know what to say about Poe. Poe had such a promising character in the first one. Here, he's kind of been dumbed down. I didn't like that, honestly. Now let's go to the good characters. I don't know why I put DJ on the bad character list. So excuse me for that. DJ is a good character. He's number last. Then we have Rey. People say they didn't like Rey at all. I kind of found Rey's arc interesting. She didn't improve a lot in this movie. Like, she was basically the same as the last movie. But at least in the last movie, she was unsure of herself. Here, she's more sure of herself. She gets to relax more. She understands her role. She does feel like she's someone. And in episode 9, you see, the part where it unsatisfied me, that her parents were nobodies, was because you couldn't have built it up. Which is why I'm saying I feel like Kylo Ren was lying to her. In episode 9, I hope against all hope, and it's probably not gonna happen, but I hope that Rey is at the very least linked to a Kenobi. Rey is a Kenobi of some sorts. That way you could have some linkage with the rest of the Star Wars saga. Then we have, and I don't care whether she's a nobody or not, that doesn't make her special. Okay? She just has the Force, boom. There, she's a powerful Force user. I mean, nah, dude, that didn't work for me. So yeah, Rey, her arc didn't improve a lot. It improved a bit, like 20%, and that was as far as it went. Her arc didn't move on from there, but you could tell they were really trying with her. But it's hard to work with somebody who's perfect in everything. I hope you fix this in episode 9, guys. Please do. So aside from Rey mucking everything up, not really. Rey was actually a normal character in here. She felt more relaxed and had time to breathe. Then we have Snoke. Snoke was just an intimidating villain in this movie. Way more intimidating than episode 7. Episode 7, I thought he was a giant, but nope, it was a hologram. Here, I kind of still hoped he was a giant, but at that point, all my expectations were thrown out the window. Thanks again, Rian Johnson. But he was still a good villain nonetheless, a good teacher to Kylo in the dark side, and his death, I feel, now that it's there, I feel like it came at the right time, so I don't have much to complain about him. Then we have Leia. Leia, her character was kind of stagnant from our film, so like I can't say much about her. Leia was an okay person. She just was a bit pushy here and there. And after demoting Poe for doing a great thing, yeah, that kind of just tipped me over the edge. But then we have my two favorite characters in the movie, Kylo Ren and Luke. Kylo Ren was the person who probably got the most progress in this movie. He understood who he was. He understood which route he wanted to go. Instead of trying to make himself a clone of his grandfather, he embraced himself for who he is. He will never be like his grandfather, but at the same time, he could just be as powerful and probably achieve more than his grandfather ever did. It shows you that Kylo Ren not only looks up to Darth Vader, but actually wants to become somebody special like Vader instead of becoming another Vader. And you could tell that his relationship with Rey is growing. Maybe there'll be a Reylo, but I highly doubt that there'll be Reylo in episode 9. But nonetheless, Kylo Ren really was an interesting person. And the fact that even the light side is tormenting him, because if you think about it, in the prequel trilogy, Anakin was being tormented by the dark side. Luke was being tormented by the dark side in the original trilogy. Here, in the sequel trilogy, Kylo Ren is being tormented by the light side. And it's such an interesting perspective to look through. I hope they focus more on that in episode 9. Kylo got a lot of progress in this movie, and I feel like it was well deserved. Sadly, it was all wasted on the villain. Can you believe that? He got more progress than Rey. Then we have Luke. Luke, in all honesty, and yeah, but before I go to Luke, Kylo Ren was basically Anakin. Kylo Ren is the perfect Anakin we all wanted. Congratulations, man. You became a better grandfather than you wanted your grandfather to be. I mean, what? Never mind. So, now we have Luke. Luke, in all honesty, is my favorite Star Wars character. I understand what this movie has done to him. I understand everything wrong that has happened. But it still won't take away my love for him. Luke is such a great character. We all loved him from the second we saw him in the original trilogy. He was such a caring person who cared about the well-being of others. And it kind of makes sense that he would be upset with Kylo, especially seeing that he did not want another galactic war. It just makes way too much sense. And so, having Luke in the picture, and I feel like we got to see two versions of Luke. We have original Luke, whose story ended in episode 6 when he saved his father and saved the galaxy from the wrath of the Empire. That was such a perfect ending for him to go on. Then we have this other version of Luke. I don't care what people say. Okay, I don't care whether they had to undo the ending of episode 6. Episode 6 had the most perfect ending of any movie I've ever seen. And no, I don't like the Yub Nub song. The Yub Nub song sucks! Take that! I just need to get that out there. I really don't like Yub Nub. I like the more musical ending. Anyway, then we got to see another version of Luke. And as Mark Hamill said himself, he wasn't playing Luke Skywalker, he was playing Jake Skywalker, which is how it kind of felt to me over here. Instead of him playing Luke, he's playing Jake. That's why I'm saying there are two versions of Luke. Anyway, here we get to see Luke. He is beaten down and he hates himself, just wanting to die. But here's a more permanent thing about Luke. At the end of, we get to see him struggle with being a Jedi and being a hero, and he renounces all of that. But at the very tail end of the movie, he comes back. He takes back his hero status. He takes back his Jedi status. He becomes the hero we all wanted him to be. He saved enough time for the resistance to escape, and he died in one of the most beautiful cinematic ways ever. Luke Skywalker's end had such a beautiful and fantastical ending to it. I don't even know how to explain it. That ending just felt so good and so original. I've never seen it before, unless maybe with Thor Ragnarok, but you know. But yeah, and Luke's end just had a beautiful close to it. As I said, it felt like two versions, but in this version, Luke really grew up. He found himself in the dumps, but he got the courage to come back up, face himself, and take on his mantle as Grandmaster Jedi and as a hero to the galaxy. That was such a beautiful arc for Luke to go out on. All in all, I will say that there were some characters I liked more than others, but the ones who I didn't like did leave a lasting impact that I didn't like. The story was kind of all over the place, not focused on what it was trying to be, but in the end, I think there was some way we could have a version for episode 9. I don't know how episode 9 will turn out, so they're keeping me on my toes. You see, they subverted my expectations in one way, making me feel that episode 9 would feel like a cop-out of the Return of the Jedi. But here, they ended The Last Jedi in such a way, I don't even know how how episode 9 will go down. So I'm on my toes. I'm actually interested to see how episode 9 will go out, and I am really excited for everything that will go on in there. Then we have so yeah, I'm really excited for episode 9. Some people aren't, but I really am. I'm on my toes. I'm really excited to see how they conclude the Skywalker saga. The character, and then we have the aesthetics. The aesthetics are beautiful. 10 out of 10. If you're gonna watch a Disney Star Wars movie, watch it for the aesthetics. There's no other Star Wars movie that looks good as this. Now, is this movie good or bad? It has a lot of bad features about it. I'm not gonna lie. This movie really sucks in some areas and really pulls me in all directions. But I will stick to what I said earlier. I liked The Last Jedi. I didn't really like it. I didn't love it. I just liked it. It was a good Star Wars movie that tried its best to be the amazing Star Wars movie, but it was all over the place. In the end, what we got was just okay, average, accurate, just above the mark, slightly above. Whatever you want to say, this movie was just above normal. And in all honesty, that's the very least you could do for a Star Wars movie. My ending rank is a 7 out of 10. That is what I'm gonna give this Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi, as I've said, I liked it. And in all honesty, it's not really my favorite Star Wars movie. It's more of my middle Star Wars movie. So, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's good. Not bad, not amazing, not great, just good. I have been Captain Phoenix, and I guess I'll see you when the episode 9 trailer comes out. Or episode 9 itself comes out, I have to do another review like this. But other than that, see you in another universe.